audience that they could get hold of here, and I think it would be a very smart move if they could try and pull that off. But I think the interesting thing is, Matt, is that they've been literally looking, or they've been giving these guys the opportunity to go out and earn money still around the UK circuit. And I guess the question is, Matt, how would that stop? Are they just going to be exclusive just to them? Because these guys have got to earn a living, and I know everyone thinks, well, that's WWE, they're the biggest dog in town, but that doesn't necessarily mean they get the substantial money. At least to sort of live on well, and if you can go and earn all these other places, then of course you're going to. So I think that WWE have either got to go all in with it, or sort of they have to just let these guys kind of run like a bit of a kind of independent contractor for a little bit longer, until they can. We know some of the guys like Pete Dunne has probably got a substantial deal, and Tyler Bates, but. They are locked down with very, very lengthy contracts, but at the moment, I know for a fact that they all are allowed to go and work for various promotions. The only thing that's been written in to some of them that I know of is that if they go and perform for somebody else, they have to either be the heel or the face, like they are on the WWE network, or have been perceived on the first tournament. So. Other than that, they kind of get a free range, which probably makes sense anyway for the independent promoter to build them that way, because, if you're going to book one of these guys now, you get a bit more name power with it because they have been on, WWE TV essentially. So, interesting times. I'm very much looking forward to the 2 nights down at the Royal Albert Hall. Myself and Matt are going to be there. What's a little bit disappointing, Matt, and we've had to kind of rethink things for the podcast, that's for sure, is that they're not going to air this until, I believe, the 25th and 26th of the month, Matt, which obviously is a week later. So we've decided we're not going to be able to, we're not going to just review it because you guys wouldn't have seen it, so it seems pretty pointless. So everybody said, will we be able to do it once it's been shown? So I think that's what we'll do. We'll literally wait a week later, and it'll kind of be cool to watch it back anyway on TV and see how they present it, and we can give our take a little bit more on it. So, yeah, we won't do any spoilers for it for you guys. So we will literally just be going there as fans, which is, to be honest with you, not a bad thing from our point of view, because it'll give us a nice perspective of it when it does air on the network, and then we can kind of really read into how they were doing it. But I'm really looking forward to it, Matt. I mean, I think this is going to be, like you say, this could be a humongous deal. Royal Albert Hall as well. I just got a feeling something good might happen here, and I'm kind of glad that we're going to be there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's going to be, well, just the fact that it's returned to the Royal Albert Hall is an historic moment in itself. So
yeah,
I'm waiting for years for that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on now to another topic. Few emails, especially at the end of last week, coming in about the what is all about the WWE new TV deal with Fox, and it's a very good deal for WWE, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure that they probably wouldn't have believed that they could get SmackDown on a network like this, Matt. But because what makes a big difference with this is with Fox, it's a sports channel, and for many years WWE has tried to get this over there. I mean, they try and get some exposure on ESPN as much as they can. They had Coachman to go to a few times when he was working for them, but to have it on Fox is a massive deal. And I've heard a lot of different rumours going around about who suggested it. There was apparently a lot of stuff from Rupert Murdoch even suggesting that Fox should sign these guys. And what's also interesting, Matt, is it does bring it back to looking at the crossover between UFC and WWE, because obviously currently UFC have a deal on Fox as well, and by all accounts they're not very happy about the deal because they think it's going to relate too much to people thinking that it's the same kind of product. But nonetheless, mate, it's a massive deal. Just to read you some of the news that came out here, I'm just literally on the Wrestling Observer, and it says currently the story noted from Fox is that based on the time frame, the WWE deal would have been almost identical to the UFC's eventual deal with ESPN, since that deal probably hit around 350 million or more by that point if Fox kept its offer on the table, perhaps go well above that figure in the negotiations and the new contract. So, man, that sort of money, Matt, is pretty big, and it's massive for WWE, because those TV deals, they're kind of what really runs this whole thing sometimes, the TV. And I know people probably wouldn't believe it, but now with the WWE Network especially, they heavily rely on their TV deals a heck of a lot more, because they don't run the pay-per-views like they used to, even though they still do sell pay-per-views. Obviously, it's nowhere near the climax they used to have on that. Nowadays, you've got to look at UFC as taking over the pay-per-view business. But, a staggering amount of money, around 360 million, obviously a massive deal for SmackDown, Matt, and obviously, NBC are the umbrella of all this. But for you, Matt, how big of a deal is this? And we say this every time about SmackDown. When the WWE going to take this seriously and actually do that product well and get a bit of equal footing? What do you make of it, Matt, them going on to Fox?
Well, surely it can only be a positive thing. I mean, we can just consider the ratings have been too brilliant lately on SmackDown. I think it's not going to really ever compete with Raw on the main scale. But, if they can actually move it to a different network, there has to be some real legit rivalry there. I mean, I know it's still owned by Vince, and they still want both products to do well, but there's going to be different demands for each show, You're not going to want to take SmackDown to your network and go, oh, I'm happy with it being the second best wrestling show. You're going to say, why can't that be as good as Raw? So there's going to be a lot of pressure on WWE now to make it just as good. So it's almost like they went with the brand split last year, but this year we'll see the real rivalry, maybe, or 2019 we will see the real rivalry come along.
Yeah, let's hope so. They certainly... it's difficult to say, because I've always said that if you go back to the initial brand split back in 2002, that roster was so much more sort of heavy, much more bigger names back then overall. But then that's because they just bought up WCW. But that's the only problem, is sort of giving enough star power to each show, because obviously SmackDown, we know they've got probably the better wrestlers, the better workers, but they still need a few of those names that I think are on Raw. I mean, even something with I know we had John Cena over there for a little while, but that didn't exactly last long, did it? So I do think they need to do things like where there's something big going to happen on a SmackDown, and it's not just all about Raw. Obviously, the problems that lie with that, Matt, is the fact that Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown is about an hour and a half, give or take, and it's the little things, I think, that make people think that's the second show. But what Fox does for this is that people that might not have necessarily watched the WWE, SmackDown on the USA Network, if they do come across this might be their first, or this might be the only WWE they get to see, which is through Fox, which would be interesting, Matt, especially if the tables turned in the long run and they started to get a more sort of more bigger audience on a weekly basis over Raw, which I've got to be honest with you, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's not exactly would be shock me, because Raw's ratings are just terrible. I think last week they got the worst rating of a show since 2016 was that last time they hit that sort of rock bottom. So they really aren't doing well on the numbers on Raw. So I'm thinking to myself, with Fox promotion on this, there's every chance, Matt, that at least at the beginning, if they get this right, that they could overtake Raw. And I wonder then what would happen if WWE, who try and control just about everything, I wonder what they would what they'd be doing, if they'd be scratching their head. Obviously you'd think they'd embrace it, but knowing the way Vince is and the whole control thing with Roman and everything else, you can imagine them thinking, no, you can imagine them playing adverts, watch Raw Monday night only through the SmackDown show, this is the real one. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how that runs and how that goes with it. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that's presented. But then again, I've said that a few times in the past. But I thought SmackDown going live on the same network that WWE was on would be as good as you could get in terms of equal amount of time and the same audience. But that certainly hasn't been the case. So. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Of course, time-wise, Matt, that's what everybody's talking about at the minute. They're all sort of contemplating when will Fox want to put this on, but there's been a few things that have come out so far about it. Of course, like you said, Matt, in an email to me, said, what if it was Monday night? That'd probably be pretty good, wouldn't it? If we were all competing then, but I doubt that'll happen. But obviously, I suppose, hopefully, we know it's going to go live, which I think is the main thing. I think most people were concerned, is it going to go back to being taped? And I think if it would have been taped, Matt, I just think that would have been a huge problem. But the fact that it's live, I don't really think it matters if it's Tuesday or... I just don't think it really matters all that much. It will matter in terms of where they tour and how they get around, because, of course... it's like one big sort of circus that just travels around and all the trucks and everything. So I guess for WWE, they prefer it to be back to back because they can just leave the set out overnight and just, film SmackDown. But, they never always had it like that. So be interesting, Matt. What do you think to that? Would there be a problem with it maybe being on a weekend or something like that?
I don't really think so. I think that with SmackDown's moved so many days now, I think people are just kind of used to that. But the other thing about it is, where it's the B show, people really don't mind that much. I mean, Raw has always been consistently on a Monday, and that might be another contributing reason to why people don't take the SmackDown tour, because it's always been shifted around a lot more. Like WWE didn't really care where they slotted it in as long as it got shown. Yeah,
no, I agree. But yeah, let's hope that let's hope that there is some good that comes out of it. Of course, other news coming out this week. Of course, CM Punk's trial with not just CM Punk, Colt Banner as well, with the WWE doctor come to a big conclusion. I guess not really. Was that shocking to you, Matt? The fact that they won and the WWE doctor that I think filed for somewhere around $4 million. He kind of calculated because of every pound for every listen that got, or every download that it got. That's how he kind of worked out that that's the money he should be owed. But in the end, Matt, was it like CM Punk said that common sense prevailed, or did you expect with the amount of, what's reported now, the amount of money that WWE put into this, do you think that they might have had a bit of egg on their face after this one?
Yeah, I do kind of feel like that. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really feel too bad for them because they are a juggernaut, They've got the cash to chuck at this, it's not really going to hurt them too bad. But Punk, on the other hand, he was the underdog in this case, just a guy coming at them with legitimate reasons for why he wanted to do this. So, power to the guy for winning it. I mean, it's good that you can see a guy stand up for what he believes in and actually come out on top at the end of it. It just throws loads of questions. It makes you wonder why WWE would throw so much money in this case. Were they just trying to hurt CM Punk a little bit more, drag it out a bit more? Maybe make him use up some money. Maybe trying to make him feel like he needs to come back to the WWE one day. I mean, the more money, if he didn't win, it's just later down the road they might assume that he needs to come back to wrestling at some point.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean. Yeah, it's not unheard of for WWE to go through lawsuits after, all these things. I mean, you see it happen with Brock Lesnar as well, when he sued them, all this kind of stuff about, using the F5 and not being able to wrestle on American soil, so he had to go to Japan and all the rest of it. So, this stuff happens. It gets a little bit messy. I think that WWE the actual executives try to distance themselves a little bit and try and just focus with the doctor, but they certainly, he still works for WWE currently, so he's their guy essentially going through all this. But it was very interesting reading. For anybody who wants to read up on all that stuff, it is available now for the few days it was there. But Yeah, I mean, funny enough, he got asked the question, Matt, will he go back now and